probably are.
Probably.
Is the music going?
Now it is.
Oh.
All right. Open out the bat signal.
What's up, Gab Grant? What's up, Chris?
Tokyo Megaplex. Dan Marino, Evan Beck, Chris H, Gab Grant. How's it going?
Megaplex. Tokyo Megaplex, are you coming to Camp Mograph?
Yeah, he is.
I mean to ask you that.
Yeah, he is. Impulse, Rick Bogus, Tokyo Megaplex. Yeah, boy. All right. Hello. Let's go live to our faces and stuff.
Let's do it.
Here's our faces. Let's make sure the chat's coming in. And, yeah, we'll start a show. Let's, bring up our recorders real quick and start that going. Let me turn off my metronome in your ear. There you go. Saved. Alright. I guess I didn't listen to your clip you sent
Yeah,
me.
Rick, we know. It's okay.
What's that?
Brograph channel's still sending out alerts.
Oh, well, that's on purpose for now.
Yeah.
All right, 10-second clip here, just a little audio recording.
Okay, cool. That worked. Claudio, Steven.
Where's the chat at?
Everything's
Where should I
good.
be watching this? For the chat.
You can use the one on Skype if you want.
YouTube.com/Mograph.
Yeah. Or
you can see the chat.
you can see the chat in your
on
Skype window.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Test 1 2 1 2 1 2.
And if you
Okay, cool.
can't see the whole thing, I think if you double click on it, you could see it full or something, right? Something like that. Yeah. All right. I'm rolling. How about you guys?
Yes, Brodeur is a cool guy.
That's true.
He's
Who said that?
the coolest, Mr. Tokyo Megaplex.
I'm all right.
You get all the chat in the Skype stream if you're on there from all the places.
I see it.
All right. Well,
Well,
I want to give you a banana. It sticks in your head. I woke up with it in my head this morning. I want to give you a banana. Girl. Oh. All right. Everybody rolling?
we're ready? No,
Nope.
I can be.
Tesla rock.
There we go. Now I am.
David, you rolling?
I didn't put the dog down. Great, but that's
I
all
am
right.
rolling now.
Just have to deal with it.
All right. Let's do a sync. It'll be 1, 2, 3, clap. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
We're in.
It'll be the usual intro. I'll do the thing. Matt will introduce you, and you'll say hi, and then I'll do my spiel, and then we'll have some fun.
Awesome.
So, okay. All right. What's up, and welcome to another Mograph Mogast? All right, take two.
No. What's up, Bob?
What's up, and welcome to another Mograph Mocast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt, and joining us today is the biggest Philadelphia Eagles fan in the entire world, Mr.
Whoa, whoa,
David
whoa.
Brodeur.
What's up, everybody?
And
I'm a
Mograph
pretty
is a
big
supplement
Eagles
to our site, mograph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other Mograph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects, plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the Brodeur. And you can email us, info@mograph.com, and let us know what you think about the show, questions, concerns, comments. We got a lot of emails this week after we went to the Colorado meetup.
Yeah, that was
Met
awesome.
some new friends
that was,
there.
That was like a great meetup.
Yeah, it was.
EJ does a really good job out there.
Yeah, he does, and I'm so disappointed in myself for not at least bringing an audio recorder to record our conversation.
You know, in our defense, we didn't know it was going to be that good.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
kind of blew us away.
It turned into kind of a mini podcast.
Sorry, EJ. We didn't think that much of you.
No.
We didn't expect that much from you.
Well, we didn't really know it was going to turn into the format that it turned into. It turned into this like panel Q&A thing with the two of us and Aryev and EJ, and we were taking questions, and it just
talking about
rates,
like rates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
no.
Yeah.
awesome.
Matt was like, I think everybody
I totally
here
got
tonight needs to raise their rates by $50 starting tomorrow, and everybody's like, yeah, I'm like going nuts.
Well, what was great was one of the girls in the audience. She came with her boss, and she leaned over to him and said, "All right, I'm raising my rate to $50." And he goes, "I'll give you 25." So at least like,
There you go.
You know, I said do
works.
it, and it was like, "All right, cool, it actually worked." You know.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a great place for it. David Aryev came up and he broke down a lot of stuff that he did recently, including that beautiful music video with the cool staging and like art and stuff like behind the dude on the stage. What's the name of that video? I can't remember the name of it.
A bad think, is that what the name of the band is?
A bad think, yeah.
A bad touch, a
Bad
bad
something or other. And then yeah,
feel me.
Feel me, that's right. Feel me, walk with me, walk away, feel me and walk away.
And save us all.
Yeah. So it was so much fun, and we went up in the mountains. It snowed, which was
amazing. Haven't seen snow in
ridiculous.
years.
It really came
Really, you
down.
guys don't get snow in Texas?
No,
we used
get
to.
ice. Well, we did before
okay.
global warming happened.
Yeah, we don't really get it like we did
Global
anymore.
warming.
It's weird.
It was that global warming threshold. You
Yeah,
know?
Dallas
we finally
was
went over the
Uh-huh.
global warming threshold, and now we don't get snow anymore.
Dallas was right on the edge, like of the southern counties that got snow, and so just the last 5 years or so, it just went away. No
Yep.
more.
Damn.
Oh well. So yeah, we had a lot of fun. We went up in the mountains, and it's weird, like the way the stuff comes through. Like it snowed really hard on us, and then the sun came out and everything, and we went and got food, and then we went to a brewery, and it started just a ridiculous amount of snow like coming down on us. Like it's
But
that
none of it
it's
was
that
sticking.
it's that light fluffy dry snow that gets on you, and then
Yeah.
you go inside, and then you just kind of like dust off your clothes, and it all falls off. I mean, it couldn't have been planned any better. You know, we're sitting in the brewery and everything. I'm trying a bunch of beers. It's just coming down outside.
I'm taking a nap in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt was our driver, so
It was the driver.
he was the DJ
Drinking
as
beer
well.
when it's snowing out is pretty much the ultimate.
Yeah, it was amazing. And so we had a lot of fun. We hung out at EJ's house, saw Gus Man.
Yeah.
Gus
Play
Man.
some video games, I saw.
Yeah, some
we
Switch.
did. We played Towerfall. It's this little game that Aryev introduced us to. Man, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's super fun. It's like 8-bit and like really fast moving. Oh, cool.
We showed off our Camp Mograph videos, and I talked a little bit about the breakdown on a couple of them as well.
And I
for
tried
fun.
to sell everyone on Camp Mograph.
Yeah.
Like I felt like a straight up just like jerky sales guy up there being like, "You get Camp Mograph, you get Camp
Yeah.
Mograph." Hey,
We got a lot
You
of
like
interested
Exploiter
people.
video?
No, but here's the thing that we really liked that format for a meetup, and so now we're considering finding a way to do that at our meetups and other meetups to just go with at least partially that format because the audience
what was
stuck
the format
around.
exactly that you liked?
Well, it's, David was presenting like somebody would do at a meetup, but it's the fact that then we the four of us went up there and started basically doing a mini podcast like this.
Yeah,
nice.
And it helps because the four of us, are very close and we talk all the time anyway, so it's very comfortable. When we're all up there, we all feel a lot less nervous. But I feel like it really hooked everybody. Everybody stuck around. When you have a whole bunch of presenters, people kind of fizzle out and get tired, and maybe there's different levels of people. Maybe there's people that don't understand how to do what David does, but they're interested in what David does, and they want to see it, but maybe they want to hear about the business side and all this other stuff, and everybody stuck around. The bartender said usually people stick around maybe about an hour and a half less than they did that night.
Yeah,
So,
we ran the thing about an hour and a half longer than it normally is. And I was very surprised that people actually stuck around. Oh, jeez.
and we saw a bunch of friends too, Camp Mograph, I don't know, as far as Camp Mograph, if we have any updates or anything like that. David, you're going, right?
Hell yeah, I'm gonna be there. You kidding me?
It's going to be fun.
Of course. No, that'll be fun. I like that it's different. It's definitely a different kind of spot than everything else. And if you don't like camping, the beautiful thing is that you don't have to go too. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of go and change up the vibe a little bit. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But it'll be, if you haven't been camping before, I've never been camping before. Never. Not.
Oh, man.
So throw yourself out of your comfort zone. I feel like it's the same thing with anything else, right? To progress and like get into different conversations and whatever, right? You have to put yourself outside of your comfort zone. So I'm doing it. Yeah, why not?
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
Now, the big thing is there's only 10 days left of early bird no, not 10, like 11 days left of early bird pricing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking to save some money, get in there, get your tickets like ASAP. Because prices go up June 1st.
And we added that community cabin ticket. So if you don't have a group that you can work out to buy an entire cabin, you can do the random thing if you're okay with that. So.
Yep. And if you never went camping, know that you can hang out with me and we can automatically connect on never camping before and seeing how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or we've also got discounts to local B&Bs.
Yeah.
If you just mention Camp Mograph, there's a 15% discount from those Airbnb or from those B&Bs. So
that's it.
Those are listed on campmograph.com. So check those out.
Yeah. It's gonna
I'm doing the whole thing. I'm going in for the experience.
Going in. Nice.
Although I'm doing a cabin, not a tent.
Not a tent.
That's all right. Other than that, I'm doing the whole experience. And my cabin's got AC and a fridge and.
No, it does.
Does it now?
I'm like, what cabin are you staying?
Yeah, I know, right?
Mine doesn't.
It's got cable.
Yeah. And it's
bunch
gonna be
of 2080 Ti's.
Hopefully it's hopefully it's not.
Oh wait, no, I'm staying home.
Yeah. Glamping. No,
so if
it's
it gets hot. If it gets cold, we'll just start doing some renders and heat it up.
Yeah. It might be. It might be cold.
I was looking at the temperature, and like it's like the average is between like 50 and 60 degrees.
That's perfect.
During that time. Oh yeah, that is absolutely perfect. That's like a long sleeve shirt and a hoodie. And you're like solid. You know, it's gonna be so good.
It might be a little chilly at night, but I think it'll be okay. It's that borderline. Winter will be coming. And speaking of which,
no, are we gonna go into any of
no,
this?
we're not going to. It's way too early for that. It's way too early to talk about that.
No initial spoilers.
No, you can't. You just can't. The only thing I guess
people will tune out too quick.
The only thing that we could ask you at this moment that wouldn't be a spoiler is, were you satisfied with the series as a whole now or not?
Yeah, I didn't subscribe to the whole internet hype of hating on this series.
Okay.
Can I say how I felt about the last episode or no? It's too much.
Man,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's a little borderline.
Here's the thing. I watched the first episode, and then I watched the last episode, and that's all I've seen. And I'm really confused about how they got there.
You usually have to watch the ones in between to figure that out.
Yeah, I know.
It could be a new way of watching shows. You watch the first one and the last one,
We'll see. I think
That ruined the show. That ruins the show.
it's all right. The thing
Yeah.
is, like, here was my big thing. I think Game of Thrones started about the same time The Walking Dead did, or something. I want to say there were like 2 shows that started about the same time, and The Walking Dead, from what I hear, slowly got worse and
Right.
worse and worse.
Which is
and
why I don't
worse.
watch
and
it.
everyone was like, there's no reason to keep going,
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, because I hear The Walking Dead, the first season is absolutely incredible, But then Game of Thrones, it's like everyone's been like, okay, this is good, this is good, this is good. I don't want to get burned. I got burned once on a show called Lost.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was the worst show I'd ever seen as a whole. Yes, thank you, G-Rant. You're totally right. Yep, I got burned by how Lost ended. So,
I agree. I felt like I wasted so much. See, I didn't feel that way with Game of Thrones, though. I felt that way with Lost. I watched Lost, and I was like, I wish I never even started it because of how this went at the end. But I didn't feel that way about Game of Thrones.
I feel like
so anyway, like I just didn't want to invest my time if it wasn't worth it, And so seeing the ending now, I mean, that's cool.
I've heard. I mean,
Maybe
I've
I'll
heard
get
all
there
the
one day.
spoilers.
I'm so annoyed that you watched the last episode in the first episode.
And that was really a reason why I wanted to do it. Because so for example, Amy, my wife, she had never read a Harry Potter book, right? She read the 7th Harry Potter book, and that was it. And I was like, what are you doing to yourself? Like, this is the best series ever. And it annoys me to no end that she's only read the 7th Harry Potter book.
That's funny.
And so I kind of wanted to throw that annoyance on everyone else.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing.
That? I do the same thing. I like annoying the hell out of people. That's a good thing.
Matt and I both haven't seen the show, and I feel like I've gotten so many spoilers already that it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah.
You hear about so-and-so died and so-and-so died. It's like, I get it. If I watch this, don't get attached to any characters. And I don't feel like so many people watch it now. I don't feel like I could never catch up at this point and not have already known about some sort of spoiler. Just through society.
It's funny.
Yeah.
So like, The Sixth Sense, how there's the big surprise ending.
Mm-hmm.
So
What a
I had
twist.
skipped seeing The Sixth Sense, and then maybe 10 years later, someone actually said the ending to me, and I was like, oh, that's such a good ending to a show. I had no idea, or ending to a movie. I was like, what?
Yeah, Kevin's in the chat. He says, Breaking Bad is the best show I've ever seen, except maybe The Wire. That's from Family Guy. That's always
okay, I didn't know that was from The Wire.
Yeah.
That was from Family Guy. See, Nick says that about The Wire. He says The Wire is the best show ever.
Yeah, that's what I
but
hear.
He hasn't seen Breaking Bad.
Now I really like. I
No
feel
spoilers.
like Sopranos is getting slept on a little bit. I think Sopranos was amazing. I personally think if you didn't have Sopranos, you might not have had Breaking Bad, because Sopranos was technically, I think, one of the first TV series where you loved the villain. And Breaking Bad did that same recipe, right? Where it got everyone to like Walter, and it's like, oh man, he's like actually an evil guy that I like. And the same thing went with Tony Soprano. Yeah. So don't sleep on Sopranos.
Here's the thing. Afterwards, I guess the Westworld season 3 trailer came out, and oh my god, if you're a Westworld person, you gotta go watch it. You just gotta go watch that trailer.
I don't know.
It's
interesting. The way that they're playing it, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail.
Well, I mean, it's not really a spoiler. It's a trailer, so it's whatever. But basically, what's the guy's name? Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul. He, I guess, is like a new main character, it looks like now, in the actual real world.
Maybe. I mean, he may just be on one episode. We don't know. That may just be the first episode of the season.
I hope not. I mean, it's now you're in the real world in the series, which is awesome.
Wait.
So
when they didn't label it as Westworld? Oh, if you were watching it, okay. If you're watching it live.
If you were watching it, you didn't know what you were watching. It was so different until the end, and you're like, "Oh crap, this is Westworld." So yeah, go watch that if you're a fan. My mouth was like dropped open. I was like, no, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
And also Rick and Morty in November. Holy crap! Like,
Yay!
it's been announced. It's official. You're a Rick and Morty guy, right, Dave? We talked about this before, I think.
Yeah, I have. I still have not. I've watched maybe like 2 episodes.
Dude.
I really enjoyed it, but
Yeah, you got to
Right.
really like dive into it to get
it's
that.
one of those things that my wife is not going to watch with me. And
Yeah, same here.
And so
Right.
this is what happens when she goes away on like a trip or a bachelorette party. There's one of 2 things that I'm going to do. Only 2 options for me.
Pants
One,
off.
Oh,
Number
hold
one.
on, let me guess.
Pants off.
Let me guess. One is one is either binge TV shows that she wouldn't watch, or 2, sit at your computer and work on personal projects. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just stay up all night, or
Uh-huh.
or I'll just crack open a beer and watch movies and TV shows the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then act like I did a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at this render I did.
Yeah.
And Grumpy
Yeah.
Cat died. Sad.
Rest in peace, Grumpy Cat.
Press F to pay respects. There we go. Yeah. Oh, poor Grumpy Cat.
Well, now that we've gotten the pop culture section
Right.
of our show.
Oh man, you want to talk pop culture? Oh, by the way, so I think we're gonna have a little contest for a Camp Mograph ticket. I think. So it's a little something we're talking about. How do we even describe what this is?
I don't. Are you gonna play any of it?
Do you want me to? I
Are you
mean,
gonna
it's
wait?
it's not mixed. I could play some stems.
Yeah.
Do you want
I
me
don't
to
know.
You
I
want
don't
me to
know.
live mix for a second on the show? I can do it.
Live mix. I mean, we could.
I can try it.
Okay. So anyway,
Okay. All right.
hold on.
Okay.
So let me
All right.
preface this. So, Ariev and Chelsea, his wife, we were all hanging out together in Denver, and they told us a story about how they one night they were getting kind of goofy, like you do, and
Might be a
he
couple
started
gummies.
making up this terrible rap.
Yeah.
And so she got him to record him
It's
doing
not
the
even.
terrible,
It's not even a
terrible
rap. It's like a song.
It's not a rap. It's like a crappy song.
Yeah.
So Dave decided to go ahead and remix it into this amazing song.
Well, I was like, see,
Something.
we got to turn this into a song and do the remix, and then we'll take the song, and if you do 4 to 8 bars of it, we'll do a contest. You do 4 to 8 bars of the song for a ticket to Camp Mograph, the winner, which one we like the best. But then
Yeah.
we'll string them all together for the music video.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to hear this? Do you want to hear this clip?
Go ahead.
It's so.
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here, let me play.
Are
it.
you gonna play the actual clip first?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Squeeze me with your monkey legs. Squeeze me with your monkey legs, girl. I want to give you a banana.
That's all the clip was.
Oh man.
Oh, so anyways, this became the inside joke the whole time we're in Colorado.
Yeah.
And like just listening to it and hearing him like try and hold it together while he's saying, "I want to give you a banana." Oh man, it's so good.
I got all
Hope y'all
the
enjoyed that.
takes and stuff. So I'm not done. I just started messing around yesterday.
What has this show become?
Yeah.
Oh, see, Tokyo Megaplex said send
Yeah.
him away.
Yeah. he's
So
down.
let me show you. I was messing around last night. I'll make this quick.
Do it. Come on, yeah.
Okay,
live stream.
because
You
it's
did a
not
good
mixed
job
or
on it.
anything, you know. So I'll just kind of like. Can you hear it? Okay.
Yeah, you're
Can you
fine.
hear it? Okay. All right. So this is what I was doing last night. I'm doing this all on the fly. I'm just like adding these things here. Yeah, I gotta build it up like a real DJ, you know.
We don't have that much time.
Yeah. It's not too bad. Yeah, I'm nervous because I'm playing in front of Tokyo Megaplex.
Right?
Yeah,
That guy's amazing.
he's got the lock on this, you know. Gotta add a little rhythm here in a second. Build you up, ready for the drop, you know, all that. There we go.
This is fire.
monkey leg. Squeeze me with your 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 monkey leg, girl. Squeeze me with your monkey leg. 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 I wanna give you a banana, girl. I wanna give you a banana.
Anyway, okay, that's enough.
That's good, dude.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at so far. I don't know.
Take all my money.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
Seriously, dude, you need to do our next. That's gonna be our next demo reel music, right there.
Right. So yeah, so I'm actually gonna do something with it and then put it up on online so people can do this contest. I'm thinking like, already I'm thinking like, I mean, obviously it's about a monkey wrapping legs around people, so I'm thinking like totally off the wall. Like I'm thinking you, Tokyo Megaplex, with your awesome
dude.
style with like a monkey with crazy legs wrapping around somebody's face. I don't know. I got
I'm
ideas.
gonna be jamming that song in my car now.
Yeah, right?
I'm gonna throw this podcast on just to hear that song.
Yep.
Bumping.
Man, I kind of talked about this at the meetup. Actually, I'm having a lot of fun learning stuff that's not graphics, because and I think actually this kind of goes to a topic that you wrote in here, David, about things. Didn't you say something? Maybe not. Maybe that was a different week. But about doing things that are not in your industry, in your wheelhouse, just to kind of
Yeah.
get a little creativity from other places or things like that. I don't know. It's been interesting to take the way that I learn in graphics and apply it to something else. So yeah, Pedro says he sounds like Cookie Monster. He does.
Yeah.
You could expand on that. Like it could almost be a children's song. Like you could be like,
Yeah, you'd have
Well,
to
not the
change
banana.
phrasing up a little.
yeah, you could do the different animals, like scratch me with your tiger paw. Like we could just get him to do all of it. Scratch me with your tiger paw. I think it's gonna make a really funny animation if we do a contest out of it. So
Oh, that's
funny.
funny. That's really funny.
It's good.
yeah, we'll have to
Alright.
write some more lyrics and have him send them over for us. Yeah. Anyway, let's go to motion graphics. Oh man. Let's talk about we have
You gotta ease into the motion graphics talk.
I
You
know.
you can't just go right.
You got to
Gotta
start
loosen
with
it up.
monkey legs, and
right.
then
You
Yeah.
gotta get some monkey legs, get a little
Yeah,
loose,
yeah.
and then then we give it the banana.
yeah, we end with the banana
We end with
yeah.
for sure.
Oh, I don't know what to do next. Let's talk about Redshift. And
All right,
I don't know
about Redshift.
I don't know anything about this, but you mentioned it the other day, and apparently I've been living under a rock.
you're gonna throw me right into this.
Yeah, Tesla Rock, Tesla Rock, a bit of foreplay. No, yeah. So there's Redshift RT, and I am been so over my head and other things I didn't even hear about it, and I don't know anything
Yeah.
about it.
I don't know enough about
I
it
don't
to
know
like
anything about it
actually
either.
make a informed decision or anything. But
What's the gist of it though? What is the RT?
I think that's going to be their real-time renderer.
So
know?
this
But
isn't-
I can't speak for this because
This isn't a video game thing. This is like something for doing motion graphics.
I don't know.
Oh,
I told you. Like that's like
Mm.
Great conversation, guys.
Yeah.
yeah.
Good
Sorry.
job, Matt.
You should have let me know that you were going to do this because right now I'm furiously googling right now.
man.
So
Okay, here you look that up.
Let's just make some stuff up then.
yeah, right.
Yeah, so
It's gonna be
Redshift are
100% real time.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's
coming
entirely
okay. Thank you,
CPU
Tokyo.
based,
It's rasterized for the first bounce, and the following bounces are ray traced
Okay.
with low samples and denoised. Okay,
you go.
that makes
Okay.
sense.
like a new real-time engine. Okay.
Yeah, I literally just heard about this, so I'm like, what is going on right now? I've been too over my head and monkey legs to even notice.
Yeah. I mean, we just got back like a day or two. I
Yeah.
just got back yesterday. Dave just got back Saturday.
Yeah.
So
It was interesting to see what different people are using for their engines too. I was talking to people in Colorado. David, you've been dabbling with Redshift, correct?
Yeah, I've been more than dabbling. I think it's like 50-50. It's just a coin flip pretty much as to what I'm going to use, whether it's Octane or Redshift. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
don't
did the grapes
have,
thing,
like, a-
right? With the was that Redshift or Octane?
Yeah. That was Redshift.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
That was the
Okay.
first thing I rendered in Redshift.
Yeah.
That looked beautiful.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, so you have been more than dabbling.
Yeah, since that like moment, it's just like what's the project, and whatever the project is really, and what the requirements are for the project, and what I think is going to be more useful. That just determines what render I'm going to use. I think they're both great and better in different circumstances. So
Yeah.
I've hit walls in both, and I'm like, oh, I could have just done this way quicker in Redshift, or I could have done this quicker in Octane. Actually, most of the time, I feel like, yeah, it's I guess I could say it's one's quicker than the other in different things, but I seem to hit more a wall faster in Octane if I want to dive in and like finesse the last 10%. But a lot of times I'm like, I don't need that. I'm very happy, and I'm like, but the problem comes in when like a client wants to art direct to the last 10%, and it's like, oh man, it's going to take me so much longer to tweak this in Octane, and then I'm like, I should have used Redshift. So I try to just like foresee that happening in certain cases, and I'll use Redshift for that. Still, if I just want to crank something out really fast, I seem to like revert back to Octane. If I'm like, oh man, I don't, because I still try to do an animation a week, and sometimes I'm like, oh man, I ran out of time, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna knock something out. But it's becoming more and more pushing Redshift. Honestly, I've done a lot more last minute things recently. I really like, what is it? It's like the thin wall or a thin
with the glass.
Yes.
Yeah, I use it a lot to like fake get like different subsurface scattering too.
Really?
Just really quick. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna probably start sharing some of my scene files soon. But I use it a ton for like, it makes subsurface easier for me in a lot of cases. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that option in there because, you know, like if you're working with glass in like a car or something like that, you know, or windows, you know, you don't want to have the weird IOR distortion stuff, you know.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to Chad Ashley. He said it was really good for or maybe it was Trevor Kerr's class, but he was saying it's really good for like paper and stuff yes, like thinner materials that like light still comes through, but it's
interesting.
It's not Jello. You know what I mean? It's not the same way, and that's how they were describing it. It's really good. I think he might have mentioned that in the course. That it's really
interesting. Yeah, it seems like, actually, I think I heard Octane's gonna have that in 2019. I think that was in his deck, in his slide deck, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong, but what Tokyo's saying in the chat is that, you know, hopefully some point they're going to show it off, and Seagraph would probably be a good place for that. Grant was saying in the chat too that it might be, they're making it sound like it's one of those things where there'll be a switch to switch from real-time Redshift to regular Redshift, kind of like what they're talking about doing with Arnold, where you can switch between like GPU, CPU.
Yeah.
You know, so you can,
or with EV cycles.
Yeah. And I really like that because then you could sit there and build your animation kind of in a previs kind of way, and then just switch it over when you're ready to render. But I should probably learn Redshift before that point. So,
you don't Redshift?
I mean, I mess around with it, but I don't know it. I don't feel comfortable the way I do with Octane anyway. So I need to take one of those courses.
I mean, I still don't feel as comfortable with Redshift as I do Octane, but that's only because I've been working on Octane for years.
Yeah,
you know.
Same here. But like, I'll jump into a client project with it. Like, whatever. Like, what's the word? Like, you'll figure it out. I mean,
exactly.
We have stuff that it's like, we got it.
What was your process?
It's all about like, this was something that we were. Hold on, if I can jump in. Before you answer that question. No, this is something we were talking about with Phil, because Phil's new the Octane car shaders he's porting over to Redshift.
Yeah.
And you know, he was saying that, you know, it's not 1-to-1, like as far as what you're like the nodes and everything but the concepts are exactly the same, and that's important to know when moving over to any sort of render engine or anything like that, is that you may not know which nodes or what buttons to press, but the concept. If you know the concept, then you know how to get from A to B.
Yeah.
It's important to know. That's why it's important to know the fundamentals of what you're doing, and why.
I definitely thought it was going to be harder to jump into Redshift, just based on like the way people described it and all these different settings and extra buttons. And I don't know, I didn't think it was at all. Like I played with it for one, and I'm not like a super tech guy, so like don't think like, oh, it's like, oh, he uses whatever and always figures it out. It's like, no, I hate tech. And that's why I liked Octane so much. I was like, barely any settings to change. I'm like, I love this just for me. But I jumped into Redshift, and it just wasn't all that confusing. I was like, oh, there's a lot more hype around it being more difficult to use than I really thought it was. So
I'm guessing you're probably pretty good with nodes to start, though, right?
I really like nodes, but I was very hesitant to use nodes for a while. I mean, even when I started using Octane, I was still using like the kind of folder or tree hierarchy or whatever you want to call it, in the standard like Cinema 4D materials, and it took me a while. If you watch a handful of the beginning Grayscale Gorilla tutorials I did, you can see I'm still using like the layering system, and I'm like, man, those tutorials are so crappy because I chose to do that rather than nodes. Once
I like the layering system.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me about that because the old tutorials I have are like that. I'm like, sometimes my head just wraps around the layering system or whatever better in my head.
Yeah, I think if it's a basic, for me, if it's a basic setup, layering is still like easier. If I just want to do like a simple like RGB color or something like that, it's like, I don't need to. But outside of that, it's really kind of nice, especially just being able to like, for instance, if like you download any materials from like Polygon or any of those kind of sites, and they give you the whole like layer, like just being able to select all of them in the folder and drag and drop it into the node tree, and it's like boom, they're all right in there, and like it's
that's super
speeds
nice.
up the workflow. And that's mostly the materials that I'm making. I do like maybe 80%, 70% those type of materials, and the rest are like just from like scratch, so I don't know, I really do like working with nodes. It's just easier for me to see. I don't have to like toggle open folders, and like if you're working on a team with someone and they give you one of their materials, it's really easy to open the node layer and see how everything's piped in, rather than like, oh, this is nested in a folder, which is nested in a folder, which is, it's like so
it's a little bit easier to wrap your head around.
There's also like this thing in the industry where, I don't know, maybe over the last 5 or 6 years, there's a lot of people who have entered the industry straight into Octane, which wasn't really a node-based thing. And there's a lot of people that just didn't even start with nodes. Whereas, somebody like us, maybe we worked in nodes in other programs.
I never worked in nodes.
No, me neither.
I didn't work in nodes until like more in-depth Octane stuff. Actually, no, until I started dabbling in 3ds Max,
See, I learned nodes in,
later.
what is it, Apple, what was it called? Was it called Shake? No, what was it called?
Shake.
Was it Shake?
I don't know.
It was the Apple compositing tool that was like, they bought it. It was a Unix. Was it called? Why don't I remember the name of it now?
I don't remember.
I think it was called. It's basically.
Motion?
No, it was more. It was like Nuke, but it was a composite.
Probably Shake.
I think it was called Shake. That's been so long, but that's where I learned because, they had a book and stuff like that came with it, and you had to, it was back when you actually had to read. See, okay, it is Shake. Bill says it is Shake.
Yeah.
Man, it's been so long. But yeah, that's where I learned nodes, and like I opened nodes in there for the first time, and then it was one of those things where you open it and you close it. You're like, nope, I don't understand this. So it took a while.
Yeah, I mean, I was really reluctant to learn nodes. I like fought against it, and then I'm just like, I got to see what the hype's all about. And if you just jump in and instantly you're like, no, it's like you're not really giving it a fair shot. It's like moving from a mouse to a like a Cintiq or a tablet of some sort, right? And it's like the same thing. It's like you gotta put the time in for a couple weeks, and then you get used to it. Because I mean, I've still used like the regular layering order like far more than I ever had nodes still, and I just think nodes are better. And now I can't get myself off Cintiq. I'm like I gotta use a mouse now, so you gotta
like
give
a poor
yourself
person
time on it. Yeah, like a peasant.
Bill, yeah, Bill.
No, they are expensive though.
Bill in the chat, he's like, Apple bought it and killed it, and all these studios had invested their pipeline in it. It was this Unix thing, and it was kind of a standard for a lot of people at the time. And then Apple, like they bought it and killed it. So,
Apple.
yeah.
Tokyo Megaplex says you go from not to nodes is the same as nodes to codes expressions. See, every you guys have been doing that a lot lately, where you do like from this to this, and I'm always like, not nodes is greater than nodes, which is also
an arrow.
That's my algebra background.
Right. Yeah, Bill. Billy's...
Well, let's see if I divide nodes greater than codes expression by not nodes greater than nodes, I can cancel out the nodes.
Are you factoring correctly?
Not
Order of
nodes
operations
is over codes expressions. Oh yeah,
What's
no,
in
because there's
parentheses?
a
Yeah.
division of codes and expressions, right?
Please
So,
excuse my dear Aunt Sally, right?
right. I'm done.
Is that what it is? Yeah, Bill. Early signs
yeah.
of Apple's lack of commitment to the pro market. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Are you mentioning that other thing? Is that in Dave's links? The Apple.
Oh, yes, it is. It is. We'll get to that. Yes. All right. So I wanted to get to some topics first, and this
Do
is
some topics.
yeah. So this is I've been looking at David at your Instagram. I was looking at it in the car the other day because we were driving up to Colorado, and I gotta say, fire sign. Cool work, bro.
And he's not just a bot. He's
Yeah.
not.
How much of that do you get? Do you get just a ridiculous amount of bots just posting fire?
I don't get tons of bots. I don't think.
All my people are quality. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, when you pay for them, you expect $5. So
Right. There's a lot of comments that I notice because we post things that aren't necessarily a render, and people follow us because they think that we're an account that just posts renders. So I'll post an advertisement.
What's the intention? Like, what are like bots trying to do? What's like the purpose? Like, why would it be like that render?
Okay.
It's not. They're not
I
actually
actually know
bots.
about this.
They're not bots.
I know about this. Nick and I created a cartoon a long time ago, and we started getting a ton of likes after not doing it for a while. We got a ton of likes of people from the Philippines, and it's like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So like, you start to look at the people who are liking them, and it's like, these are totally fake accounts. So these fake accounts, because like other people are buying likes, they have to like other things that are similar to it in order to trick Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever into thinking that they're real accounts.
There's also a lot of real accounts doing this, though, and I've looked at it, and I think what's happening is your account gets a little more, quote-unquote, notoriety in the system if you are commenting on more things and liking more things, and you're more active. And I think people are using these systems that do auto posts, so anything that has the hashtag every day, then and Mograph, then you post, that render is fire. So when I post an advertisement for Camp Mograph, and it's just a picture of someone's face with their name, and then they put, that render is fire, yo. I'm like, okay, you're a real person, but you're just doing this because you're trying to game the system. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. I see it for that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously if you're an artist and you're buying likes and followers, that's like really stupid. Like, I don't understand the purpose of that. One, two, like if your end goal
because it's
is
not like they're gonna buy anything from you.
No,
if
they're
you're
not
trying
gonna
to
buy
sell
anything.
something.
And like if you want to get like paid on Instagram, like I'll just be straight up, like those companies can see that you do that. Like 100%, they can see if you've like promoted something or if you've bought followers and likes and stuff like that, and then you won't get hired for stuff too.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
yeah.
How can
I've
they
done a
see
couple.
that though?
Well, a lot of them require access. Like if they're going to start paying you for like different posts and stuff like that, they get access to like your analytics and all that, and And I mean, maybe they were BSing me,
So
but
they could probably see like where the likes are coming from or
I
something
guess,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
So
100% sure. I didn't really care because I didn't buy anything, so I was like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, that's fine. You guys can check it out. But yeah, I would just say be cautious about anyone that's doing that. And then it's like, I don't know. I guess it's a weird thing to just like want
Hype
to
auditor.
Hype
buy, like
auditor.
it's like just create work. Who cares if like my stuff has highs and lows, and that's just how it goes. Like if you're not
Yeah.
getting a lot of attention, it doesn't mean your stuff sucks. It's like some stuff I'll do, I'll get like 10,000 likes, and then something else I'll do get like, I don't even know, like under 1,000. It's like, I don't care, man. Why? I've never set out to do something on Instagram because I wanted likes and followers. I
Right.
set out because I wanted to make something for myself, and I think that's kind of the most important takeaway. Like, don't
Wow.
put energy into like the hype of likes. It should never, creating art should never be about that. It should be about how does it better you.
Exactly.
If you look at this hypeauditor.com, right? You can type in an Instagram or whatever. Yeah. Look at Khloe Kardashian. She's got 64.8 million quality followers.
Oh,
what does that
this
mean?
Is interesting.
Like,
quality though is probably like,
so she's
people that
got
comment and like
93
on her stuff.
million followers, but authentic engagement is 1.2. That's
God.
crazy. I want to see how many we have. Let's see. What's our
Yeah.
Instagram? Can't Mograph.
Gosh, yeah, that's
Yeah, you could type mine in. I don't
one
care.
quality person.
Oh, they have to have at least 1,000 followers. Dang it.
yeah,
you
we
can
just
type
opened
mine.
that account.
I don't care. You can out me.
Is it just locked and loading?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see how much fake stuff I have going on.
Yeah. Gosh, you got a lot of followers, dude.
Uh-oh, we're gonna call you out, dude.
You're gonna be like, oh man.
I don't care. I got nothing to hide.
Yeah. All right. So.
What does that mean? Man, 116,000 followers.
So.
Did you get that from? Did you get that? Because I've seen a few of your posts hit the front page of Reddit a few times. Did you get a
Yeah.
big influx from that?
I don't know. I remember like Reddit was like a couple years ago. And who knows? I'm not on Reddit, so my stuff could pop up there more often than I even know. But it was like 2 years ago. It was like the last day I did my 365-day everyday thing, and it was. I posted like an animation that day for the final one, day 365, and then like I had a couple people be like, "Yo, your stuff is blowing up on Reddit." I don't remember getting a whole lot from it though. Like,
Yeah.
but like over the course of that year, it like jumped up. It was like, because prior to like that, it was like 30K or whatever, and then it just kept jumping up, and now I've pretty much like plateaued. And honestly, like I lose way more followers than I get anymore. So
Oh yeah.
ton. It's not even close.
Yeah, they're like, oh, what is this? Gross. Unfollow.
yeah. But yeah, it's like
Every time I show my wife your stuff, she's like, ew, that's gross. Gross. I don't want to see that.
I've got a couple ideas right now for some like even grosser stuff that's gonna start happening soon.
Alien bugs, gross.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, who cares? Who cares? I'm losing followers. Who cares?
So, what do you think about these accounts that repost art? Some of them with permission, some of them not. But
yeah, I saw a conversation going on Twitter like a little while ago about that exactly, of like, because what it does is driving traffic away from your page. It's like if you're an artist and lots of artists like want them. And I don't really know the answer, but I thought it was like an interesting conversation to have and hear what you guys think too. But like if you're an artist and you have like 5 or let's just like 100 followers or whatever, and you're like, okay, this other account has got 100,000, and you're like, if they repost my art, people are then going to click on the link and come to my page. But from what I've heard is that doesn't really happen. Like people are just going to continue following the reposting page, and they're not really going to come to your page and follow. And I've kind of noticed that for mine too. People repost, I don't then all of a sudden get a bunch of followers. You might get a couple, but but the page that's reposting gets a bunch and gets a ton of stuff. And you'll see that, like you'll see like they've reposted and they've got the repost page has got like 100,000 views on a video, and then yours has got like 200 or something like that. It's so I don't know. It seems to me like they're probably taking away from the actual artist getting getting a lot of traffic driven to their page rather than the opposite. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I feel like if I'm personally looking at something and I'm going through, I'm not even paying attention to who it belongs to. If I've added some account that I didn't even realize, I guess, does that, I'm like, oh, that's cool looking stuff, and I add them, and then it kind of comes down the pipe again. I'm not really looking at those crazy, like, deep comments to see, oh, well, this is actually someone else's work, and here's the link, and then you click on that, and then you follow them. I don't do that. I don't think anybody else does.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I just use Instagram for pictures of my dog. Like, I literally only have 100 followers because and I have my stuff on private. I have everything on private. I don't want people from high school finding me.
Why? What did you do, Matt?
Because I hate high school was stupid. I hated it. You know, I didn't want to be there while I was there, and then once I was done, it's like, all right, I never want to see you buttholes again.
Well, for those who actually do have open accounts and actually are posting quality, here's the other thing. I noticed this about you, David. You have this account, and it's just your renders.
Yeah.
Just your renders, right? And, like, we have the Mograph.com Instagram, but, like, we're posting, here's a meetup we're doing. Here, it's kind of used for a different purpose. And then it's like, well, okay, well, what if I have a render now? Where do I put that? Before, I might put it on Mograph, you know, and I'm like, do I want to put it on the Mograph account now, or do I want to, like, really get my personal
I wouldn't
Twitter
put it in the
and stuff
Mograph
going?
one.
Yeah.
See, I may get a Matt Milstead artist one. I just don't do enough dailies.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, David, do you
I
have
too much
like,
going on with Mograph.com and Camp Mograph to keep up with. How am I going to do it daily?
Yeah, and I'm making Monkey Legs music
Don't
over
tell
here.
that to Mike, man.
Sorry.
People will
I got
rip you up for
15
that.
minutes. I just won't take a crap that day.
Yeah.
But David, what about your personal? Do you have a personal Instagram that you use, just
No.
like snapping photos? So this is, I guess it's not a good.
I did have another one before I did the animation stuff. When I was doing a lot more like industry, like working in a studio, not like remotely. I would leave every day and I would go and take like a photograph and edit it and post it up. And I did that for a little while, and then I dropped that, and then I just started doing the animation. But no, you won't find me anywhere on social media with any personal stuff. On Facebook, I had to create an account just so I could have a business page. But if you go to my account, I've got 0 followers. I'm following 0 people, and on there it says I don't use this account. If you want to keep up with my stuff, follow my business page. So I don't do any personal stuff whatsoever online. None. It's
How
too
is
much
your
of
family supposed to know what you're up to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Or
don't
what you
care, man.
ate
They
that
can
day.
Keep up with my work. That's what I'm up to. My work. Yeah. It's like client work, personal work, and if they and my family's always welcome to come stay with me. So there you go. Or I'll go visit them.
Yeah. You want to find out about my work, about my life? Just come visit.
And I'm cool with people who do the personal stuff. That's fine too. But I am looking from like how much time I have in a day, and for me it's not that beneficial for my business or my career to be wasting time with like personal stuff. My personal stuff is like I remove myself from technology to enjoy my personal life, and then anything that I'm back on technology, it's 100% for work. So yeah, I don't know, good or bad.
You've got a note here too about not needing Mograph full time to be successful. What is that?
Yeah. I have so many people that are like working in a business and they have a family. A lot of it is when someone's got a family, they feel this way, and they're somewhat happy, somewhat not at their full time job, and they'd love to do like Mograph full time in animation, 3D or 2D or whatever, but they can't take that jump, right? That risk. And of being like, I'm going full-time Mograph, and maybe they're just average too, you know what I mean? Because they haven't put that much time into it. So they're like, yeah, I might get work, and they might be right. That might be a pretty valid like opinion or perception. And my thought on it is that like you don't have to do this full time to enjoy it and love it. It's like, hey, wake up early, on a Saturday or Sunday, or work late when your kids or whatever, wife's in bed or husband's in bed, and work on it then, and do a lot more personal work, right? And you can, start off just mediocre and just keep practicing and doing it, and then getting better and better to a point where you will get traction in this industry. I feel like this industry is
This
not
doesn't. It sounds like you're saying it doesn't have to be just a job. It could be a hobby.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it? 3D animation is a hobby.
And you know what? If you get enough time in your hobby, you're going to get good at it.
Yeah.
And then eventually, maybe you can. And it's a seamless transition when you have enough people knocking on your door and saying, and you know what? Like, I do a lot of different jobs. And sometimes I'm straight up with clients. They're like, hey, can you work on this project? We'd love to have you on, whatever. We like your work. And it's like, I definitely can. Here are my hours for today and this week. And if you can't do that, then I totally respect that. And maybe another one. And I would say 10 out of 10 times I've never had a client say, oh, well, if you can't start working for us until 12 p.m. every day, then we can't have you on the project. They've never turned it down.
If they're being that, micromanagement about it, they're probably people you don't want to work with anyway.
I understand, like some studios, they're like, well, have our meetings, we want to go over every project at 10 a.m. or something like that. And I'm like, all right, I get that. Well, if you don't want to work with me, I won't be doing that. And that's fine. Some jobs just won't be right. So like, don't, if like manage it around your other schedule and see how it works out. You might only get 3 jobs a year instead of 30, but you're still doing it. You're still in the industry, and slowly but surely you might break through and then can do that full time. But I always feel bad for artists that are like, hey, well, I can't leave this company because I get health insurance, they pay me well, but I'd love to do animation full time. And it's like, well, start off, like, just work harder and like do more personal projects. One thing will lead to the next. The industry responds to good work, and then like all of a sudden you made new connections and you're getting work.
Yeah, plus you can still spend time with your family and stuff like that. Like when Amy and I are laying in bed watching TV, what's going to stop me from grabbing my computer and just playing around?
Yeah.
I'm still spending time with people, even though, it's no different than just being with them and being on my phone.
Watching TV, whatever. Just in the same room. Do you get a lot?
Having a good spouse really helps, right? Having a good spouse really does help. Someone that like respects like the kind of time that's put in. So I could see how it could be difficult if you had a significant other that doesn't want you doing the extra stuff, like that would suck. But maybe you find a different person.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. So what about your Instagram and just all your social in general? Do you get people coming to you for jobs from the social media stuff?
Yeah, I don't reach out at all. I've done zero legwork, marketing work, trying to get hired at studios. And I've realized that, like, I've been in the industry now. I graduated in 2010, so I've been in the industry for 9 years. I understand that, like, if you're an artist and you've only been in the industry for like 2, 3, 4 years and this is not happening, don't feel discouraged. It wasn't that case for me either. But like, after being in there for a while, like I've got enough like people that know me and have done enough studio projects, and then obviously like having like a bunch of Instagram followers helps too. But like I don't do any kind of marketing. I thought I was going to have to when I moved to Florida. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do a ton of industry work, and I'm not gonna be able to get any. But it just hasn't been that way. I just get reached out to pretty frequently. So I think the key is like hit as many social platforms as possible. You need to be posting on Behance. You need to be posting on Twitter. You need to be posting on Facebook. What else? Keep your website updated. Keep your reels updated. Put it all out there. Because for a while I was getting tons of work from Behance, like right before Instagram. Now I'm getting tons from Instagram. I get reached out to a lot on Twitter and stuff like that as well.
What about LinkedIn?
I don't really go on LinkedIn anymore. I've got my page, but
no one goes on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Delete that crap.
Yeah. I mean, but who knows? That's the thing. Like, what if Instagram dropped off tomorrow and Twitter dropped off?
One can only hope.
Right. But, and if that's the case, you'd be happy that you're keeping these other things up to
Yeah.
date. So I think it's really important. And I should do that on LinkedIn. Maybe I'll go back in and keep my profile updated. And because I don't even know, it probably says I'm working somewhere that I'm not anymore. I haven't been for a while. People are congratulating me on a work
Oh,
anniversary. I'm
God,
like,
I
I haven't
get
been there
those.
in 3 years.
Yeah.
Actually, LinkedIn is so I've got a buddy in New York who has zero social networking anything, and the only thing he has is a LinkedIn, and that's the only way I could get a hold of him.
Yeah.
It's just by hitting him up on LinkedIn.
But I think the takeaway is like, keep everything updated. You never know what client's going to look where. You never know who's going to be influenced on what platform. And it's like, yes, all of us artists are doing a lot of more stuff on Behance and on Instagram right now. But there's going to be a lot of people who aren't like from the same kind of mentality that we are, and maybe they're going to be looking through something more like LinkedIn. And I've got hit up by big
how
clients.
the algorithm is going to hit in your favor and at what point and on what platform.
Yeah, but someone who's more business oriented, it's not going to be searching for artwork on Instagram. They're going to maybe look you up on LinkedIn. And I've gotten jobs from LinkedIn from some pretty big companies, and they know nothing about art. They're just handling a budget. So
How do you vet people that come to you from these different platforms, just randomly, and skip the people who are like, oh man, your stuff is fire, I'd really like to collaborate, aka can you do free work for me? How do you
and so
filter that?
I feel like, so I was chatting with some people at NAB this year about it, and just kind of how I've kind of started vetting that a little bit. And I get bombarded with, yo, how much for a 3-minute video? How much for this? How much? And it's just like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to waste all my time. I try to respond back to everybody. And then like, what if this is a serious job? How do you figure that out? So
Would it be easier to is there an easy way to vet people by just saying, hey, if you're interested in my work, email me at blah, 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 blah. If you're interested to know about pricing, email me. Because I guarantee you the ones who aren't serious, they're not going to email you.
Yep. You nailed it, Matt. That's 100% what I was going to say. So like what I do is I've got my wife is my producer also. She helps manage a lot of those kind of emails and stuff like that for me, and help me vet the process there. Of like weeding people out, and so I'll have a generic copy paste thing when people hit me up. I say, hey, thanks for contacting me or reaching out to me or whatever. Please contact Britt at whatever, Britt at lockedandloading.com for to further collaborate or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it takes out like 90% of the, so if like you, and like I've seen them popping up on Twitter, people like, oh, this person wants this video or whatever, how do you stop these from coming in? And then if you don't respond, they'll like write question mark like after a week, and it's like, dude, come on, you're just trying to get a quote here, and like you could never afford to pay for what this would cost, and so that knocks it out. Oh, Chad Ashley. I love
Ashley.
you too, Chad.
I love David Brodeur. Heart.
I'm blushing.
So there are a lot of people that will hit us up and have hit us up over the years, or me even back in the day when I was doing, a full-time job, but I had kind of a side thing going, and they'll say, how much for a music video? That's what they would ask me. That was the standard question, like back about 5 to 10 years ago. Hey, how much would you charge for a music video? And it's just like, dude, like what kind of music video and how long are we shooting? Is there animation and all of that stuff? And the thing that really, for me, just made people disappear is by saying, well, a music video for me is going to cost you a minimum of $10,000.
Yeah.
Because no matter what it is, it probably is going to start at $10,000. Gear or animation or whatever it's going to be. Do you send them do you send them at least a price range for people that are wondering?
I hate giving out prices because I feel like people are just trying to grab information and they're not really interested at all. So I feel like it's just a waste of my time anyway. I feel like they're just straight up wasting my time. I feel like they've got like $100. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and so I don't give it the satisfaction to even give them a price. And that's probably some weird personal thing I've got going on, but no, they don't get a price from me.
Because my thought was like you could even send them to a web page that had pricing details or something, you know.
Yeah,
if,
but I'm not
you
the
know.
Google. Go do that. Go do that yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
I'm not here to answer these questions.
And people get upset too. They're like, "Oh,
Oh
come on,
yeah,
man. Come on. Can't we just like collaborate on something?" It's like, "But dude, like you want me to just do all this stuff for free for you and I don't even know you?"
yeah,
It's really weird.
yeah. I don't even know you exactly.
It's not like
Yeah, I
it's,
mean,
you know, David Ariev and I'm making him a deep cut of monkey legs, you know, just for fun.
exactly.
You know, because we're friends and it would be funny. But like just random internet people wanting favors.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And on the flip side, I kind of feel bad because some people are also trying to like boost their own work up or something like that, and
Network.
they want to collaborate on on a
Absolutely.
networking level. And like I get a lot of people who do audio that are like, hey, anytime you need audio, and like they're offering their stuff, their services for free, and like
Yeah.
and like I get that. I feel bad for that, but it just becomes overwhelming. So.
I get a lot of
I
emails
have tried
about
to
audio.
collaborate. Yeah, I've had tried to collaborate with some audio people, and it totally bombed. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of turned me off on it. Where like, I then give them something. They're like, oh, I thought it was going to be like a shorter animation, and it's just like, I mean, that's cool. That's like you don't have to do it, but
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't feel like if I needed audio for something that I would just go to a random stranger and say, "Hey, will you make me something for free?"
yeah.
I feel like I would
wouldn't
approach
either.
somebody and say, "Hey, I've got some money, and is this enough to do this?" Or, I would at least
Yeah.
approach in a way that's like makes it seem like I'm serious about it if
Yeah.
I'm actually serious.
Have you guys ever heard of it's called Zelig Sounds, Zelig?
Mm-mm.
You should check them out. When you see their website, you'll be like, oh yeah, I've watched literally everything they've made or like done audio too.
Mm-hmm.
And they had reached out to me back in like 2000, I would say maybe 2012, maybe 2012 probably. And they had like barely any work, and they were just like did one of those things, hit me up on Vimeo, right? And we're like, hey, if you want to do any kind of personal project or whatever. And I had just done one called Identity Transmute with Grayscale Gorilla had posted up on their blog, so it like blew up, especially in 2012. And so they saw that and they're like, hey, let's do something. And then I hadn't gotten like nothing happened for a while, and then I did my an animation for Pause Fest a couple years back, and my ocular piece, and they hopped on, but like and they did it for free. They were super cool. It's a male and female studio, and they do killer audio.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
looking
went
at their stuff. It's really good.
yeah, it's
They
epic.
got a lot of big names too.
Yeah. And since then, they've done so much stuff with like Man versus Machine and all that, and tons of Nike stuff and you name it. But they knocked it out of the park. But I felt comfortable like hitting them up and being like, hey, like it was like somewhat last minute too, not really last minute, but like short deadlines if they're a busy studio. And I was like, hey, I'm doing this personal project. Would you guys still be into it? And they did, and they didn't like charge for it or anything, which I thought was cool because I wasn't getting paid for the Pause Fest animation either. So, but yeah, I mean, so like it doesn't fully hurt to reach out to people, but if you're a visual artist and you feel like your social media is getting bombarded with like requests from like, hey, I'm a rapper, how much for a video? Or hey, such and such, can I get how much for a 1 minute logo animation? It's just straight up. I mean, just send them, if you don't have like an alternate email, just send them yours and say contact and give them a different name, so-and-so at this email address for quotes and further information about the project. And they never respond. It stops right there because they're not actually serious about it. And that way you don't waste your own time.
Yeah, because
What might be fun is like if you get those emails or something and like they're not going to pan out or something, like having some sort of automated email every week saying, hey, just checking in to see if if we want to work on this, blah, 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 and annoy them in the same way that they annoy you with the stupid question.
Yeah. It's like the guy who a couple years ago on the Cinema 4D subreddit, but like came in there and started getting mad because nobody wanted to help
I
him
remember that. Yeah.
on a project for
He's like,
free.
fine, I'm gonna learn cinema myself, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome, and you guys will see. It's gonna
Yeah.
be great. It's gonna be the best thing, and you'll be so jealous that you didn't help.
Yeah, you're gonna be so jealous. And Cinema 4D is like so easy to learn. I'm just gonna do it. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I started checking in on him every couple months and saying, hey, how's that project going? And now his account's just gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not that easy. Like, I have a lot of respect for people in other industries. You know, you dive into Cinema 4D every day, and then you're like, oh, well, this is easy. You click this button and this button and this button, and you do your thing. But like sitting down in front of Ableton or something where it's like something so easy, like, how do I hear this note right now? It's not playing correctly. There could be like 100 different reasons, and your mind hasn't mapped out a path, a signal path inside of Ableton yet. If you're brand new at it, trying to figure out how all this stuff works, and so you know, I have a respect for people that do other crafts and are really, really good at it. And like, I don't feel like I would treat people the same way in turn. And I don't understand why. Maybe it's just our industry. Maybe it
How do
just
you learn
looks
Cinema
easy.
4D? How do you make that? Well, you press a button about 10,000 times.
Right.
And then you're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
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 And then the whole thing about being a good designer comes into play somewhere.
Yeah.
There.
Right?
You know, I see that all the time too. That's a hard thing about 3D that I think so many artists gravitate towards 2D, especially now. There's a big 2D fad, but it's because it's like it's almost the path of least resistance. And I'm not trying to say like there's obviously some very technically challenging things about 2D, and like if you want to start getting into cell animation stuff like that, but it's almost easier to like cell animate like someone walking than it would be to make that in 3D. You know, there's something that's like a little bit less, like you still have to know how to do character walk cycles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like there's no rigging, weighting, like all that. Then we're going to talk about material creation. It's not just like, you know, you can't just pick the color and paint it like you could in Photoshop. It's like, all right, we're going to talk about reflection and materials and bumps and normals. And so there's just so much to learn, you know, and anytime I teach like an intro to Cinema 4D course, it's always like, all right, what are we going to learn first? Because it's like, we make something. It's like, okay, well, we have to talk about segments and polygon count, and we also have to talk about render settings and lights and shadows, and it's just so much. It really can be overwhelming, and it's really hard when you've been doing it for a while to remember that, like, okay, so it's not like you can just add a material to a shape and be like, that's perfect. It's like, well, now you got to render it, and now what does it look like rendered? Well, it doesn't look good because the light doesn't look good, and it doesn't look good because your render settings aren't good, or it's flickering. So you just have to learn so much to get going. And that's why a lot of young artists, they get discouraged using 3D really quickly because they're so used to that instant like gratification or satisfaction that they see in like 2D or After Effects. It's like, hey, what I made is that's the end result right there. Where when you start doing 3D, it's like, that's not it. You gotta just want and be willing to like continue to massage that final to really get it to where you want it to be. So it's not easy at all.
And last time you were on, you were talking a little bit about people who copy what you do, you know, and is that getting more frequent? Are you getting more people who are copying you, and are they copying you exactly, or are they copying your style, and like what's the difference? And
are they doing the blobbies? The blobbies.
the blobbies.
You know, it's kind of something that I feel like I've grown and my mindset is completely changed from. So if you hear any of the earlier podcasts where I chat about it, and I've chatted about it before and pretty passionately too at times, and you know what the weird thing is like I almost feel like it was my ego kind of talking a little bit, where, you know, I'd see it's like, hey man, they ripped that from me, or hey, that's like my style, or hey, that's my composition, that's my color palette, that's this. Like I came up with that. It's like, you know, like the craziest thing about the whole thing is it's like, then I look at it and I realize it's like, well, I took that from somewhere else, or I got, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I did kind of steal this myself, so I guess it's
like,
okay.
yeah, what point am I actually trying to like push here? Because, you know, I see that as like, I'm like, oh, I took that from somewhere and they took it from me, and then it's just like, I feel like that was kind of a bad message I was putting out there, and everyone can have their own difference of opinion on it, and I'm cool with that. But at a certain point, I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore, man. If someone likes the style that I'm doing, if someone likes the composition and they want to rock and do the same thing, go for it. You know what I mean? Like, figure it out, learn it, make yourself better. If your sole dedication is to like emulate my page for the rest of your life, like that's kind of messed up. But if you go through like a 1 month period and you're like, yo, look at this guy's work, or look at this girl's work, I want to see if I can make stuff like that. Like, you know what? Go for it. Like, I don't want to be that person that like, you're like, oh, I can't touch that style because like then that person's gonna say that I'm copying off of them. It's like, that's not cool. Like, so what? No one can ever do the stuff that I do because I did it. It's like, that's stupid. Yeah. Like, I feel like artists that are doing that are actually or that were like me are actually doing a disservice to everybody else. It's like, and we all have heard like imitation is the greatest form of flattery, right? And it's like, to an extent that's true. It doesn't make it easier when you see, and I get the opposite side because like I said, I spoke very passionately about it, of like, well, I came up with it. They copied it. And we go back to the stupid likes and followers. And it's like, I got 10 likes and they copied what I did and they've got 10,000. And like, I understand that can be a tough pill to swallow, but like, you're looking at the very short-sighted, and it's like, they're only copying you. You're creating trends. You're creating new movements. And like, then like, why would that style be the only thing that you could ever create? And if you find yourself as an artist that is like, that's the only style you can create, like, you should probably check yourself on being an artist and start playing with more styles and mixing it up. I think we should be promoting other artists to dabble and mess around with different people's styles. It's like, so what if I do like a badass like landscape with like futuristic stuff and put a person in it? Like, everyone's gonna just write, hey, you're copying off of people, and it's like, all right, so what? I can never do that now. You know what I mean? And Mike would probably be the first to say, like, well, his reference and I've seen many things like original concept art from like Star Wars and stuff like that is not too far off, but he's given his own flavor. And it's like, people forget like the past. I remember I was doing a whole series, and I hadn't watched Stranger Things yet. And I got tons of like, oh, this looks just like Stranger Things. Looks like Stranger Things. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I have not seen one episode yet. And actually, I was copying a shot from Close Encounters from Steven Spielberg.
Right.
And then lo and behold, I was like, well, I got to watch Stranger Things. And so I watched it, and I was like, I see. They just like they're copying off of the shows that I grew up with.
And that's on purpose for the nostalgia.
100%, 100%. And so, and I'm just like, you know what? Like, yes.
Or like, homage, even.
And so like, I'm happy they could make Stranger Things because Steven Spielberg made E.T. or whatever they're deriving some of their imagery from. Or Goonies, or like the whole vibe is like that, right? Yeah. And then it's like, so what? I'm gonna just knock on Stranger Things before because Goonies came out first. It's like, come on, stop. I don't know why we're doing the same thing. It's like, let's just keep reinventing art and embrace each uniqueness for what it is. Like, someone will put a different spin on it. If not, like, they're not going to sustain themselves as an artist. They're gonna have to show that they can do something original at some point. So
yeah, there's a line too that is different for everybody. Like, again, apply it to audio. I'm obviously going to have some influences if I'm doing audio that come from the stuff that I listen to, like Deadmau5. And of course, like the Serum plugin, I'm using the Serum plugin, which is, super Deadmau5, and some of the stuff that I've practiced on, though, here's the thing, like, I would never post because all I was doing was trying to emulate something that Deadmau5 was doing just so I could learn how to create it. But I'm not going to post... I'm never going to post that anywhere, because I just want to see, okay, how would I set up this synth to do this and sound like this thing? But that's my line. But everybody has their own line. I've probably said it before. If you're watching something and there's nudity in it, some people would call it nudity or tasteful nudity. Some people would call it porn, even though maybe it's not porn to you. Maybe it's just nudity, like an art book. Someone has an art book with a bunch of naked statues in it. That's pornography, or maybe it's just art. there's a line that everybody has. So when it comes to like, you know, looking at something and saying, hey, is that influenced by this or is that copying? That's where, that's why I think it's so hard to define. Everybody has a different idea of what that line is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think music is a really good kind of analogy for it too, just because it's like I love hip hop, and like one of hip hop's biggest things is sampling songs. And like, you know, Kanye West, for example, like lots of his like greatest songs, it's like, oh, he just sampled a bunch of other stuff.
Ray
and, like,
Charles.
And it's like, oh, yeah, and just mixed it up in his own unique way. And it's like, are we really going to kill that? Are we really going to kill that possibility of being able to chop stuff up? I mean, let's bring up Winkleman again too, right? I mean, he's straight up. He's like, hey, I don't really make a lot of the stuff anymore. I'm ripping stuff from here. I'm ripping stuff from here, and I mash it together.
Yeah.
And yet there's still no one else's work that he's copying from. It's just he's using a bunch of pieces from a bunch of different things, and then it's his original piece.
It's like
right?
getting
awesome.
a whole bunch of people getting the same box of a Lego set, and everybody does something different with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like, no one's stealing from anybody else. It's like, well, we all were given the same pieces, you know.
Is that
or this was our reference?
I feel cheap doing that sometimes, and I know I shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean,
but, you know,
I do it occasionally. I typically make everything myself still, but I get the idea of like why it's not really relevant. And there's some stuff like I made like a weird creature. It's called Hydra Leech, and I made him on like a fire hydrant. And I'm like, okay, I know how to make a model of fire hydrant. And I'm like, but I really only have 4 hours to do this thing. And that's like texturing, lighting, setting up my renders, and walking away from my computer and making an animation, making this thing feel alive. And I'm like, I went online, found a model for $3, a fire hydrant. All I had to model was the chain.
I bought that model before.
Yeah, all I had to make model was the chain. I'm like, that's not worth my time. I'm sorry. It's just not worth my time to sit there and model it. And it has nothing to do. It's like saying to a photographer, like they take a picture of like a still life and they're like, did you grow those flowers? Did you make that vase? And they're like, no, I bought the flowers at a store, and the vase was sitting here in the studio. And people are like, well, no, that's not real then. It's not real art. You needed to make that. And it's like, what? No one says that. It's like, this is a new age of like creating artwork and digital form of art. You know, we're not mixing our own paint, you know, like from pigments. It's like, we're buying this stuff. It's like, well, some people are probably stretching their own custom canvases, but like in actuality, it's like we're all buying this stuff. No one's growing their own like hemp and weaving canvas. Canvas isn't made out of hemp, but I don't know.
And Tokyo says, just don't take credit for everything and don't actively try to mislead people. I think that's good advice.
By making them think that you did all that.
You made this? I made this.
Yeah, I think it's more important for like that aspect. And again, obviously it's all my opinion. I think that's more important for like young artists, because that's misleading to a client or a studio that wants to hire someone, right? So if you're coming directly if this is what Tokyo Megaplex is referring to, if you're coming like directly out of college and I look at your reel and you've got models of cars and like zipping down a road and all this stuff, but you actually didn't make it, I'm assuming that you made that, right? And so, yeah, I think it's very important. But if you're at a spot in your career where it's like, well, I can model a car, it's going to take me probably like 2 weeks fully sitting there or more modeling this car. Well, like, so I'm not being totally misleading, and I don't feel like I need to credit like any like 3D model companies online and be like, hey, I got this model from here. It's like, I'm not writing that. You know, I've done a handful of projects for like Dodge and Toyota and they gave us the car model, and I've never put in there that they gave us the car model. It's like, I think it's important if you can't do something that you credit someone else. It's like, you know, especially as a young artist, because most of the things you probably can't do. So I think it's very important to do that.
Yeah.
My 2 cents on it. But like, I'm not gonna go and put on my Hydra Leech thing. I did not model this fire hydrant. It's like, that has nothing to do with my piece, man. It's got nothing to do with it. And if you really want me to, I can model it. So if someone hired me and they're like, you have to model a fire hydrant, I'll model a fire hydrant. That's fine. And so I'm not misrepresenting my abilities. That's kind of how I feel, at least.
Then you say, you want me to model a fire hydrant. you're wasting your time because I
Exactly.
can go buy it for $3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna
your
pay me
management
$100 an
skills
hour.
are
Yeah.
not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be, the right thing to do is say, hey, you're gonna spend. I'm gonna put a whole day in modeling this fire hydrant, or we could buy it for $3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 For less than the price of a cup of
A
coffee.
cup of
Yeah,
coffee a day. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. I'm got kind of another topic, but I wanted to roll it into our links for today. I've got
Thanks,
it's a show I listen to all the time, heavily influenced by it. It's called Back to Work with Marlon Mann and Dan Benjamin. Matt, I know you've listened to a couple of them here and there.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's really weird for me because I feel like he always says something that's relative or relevant to my life at the time that I need it. It's just, I've listened to every episode, and I really, really enjoy it. I like Merlin Mann a lot, and they were having this conversation the other day, and so the reason this is a link is because I think it would be beneficial to people to listen to episode 426. Gosh, I can't believe they've had that many episodes.
What episode are we on?
We're on 184 right now. It's above your head. Just look up. Just look up. Mograph podcast 184. There it is. Now, so this is an idea that's been floating around by a lot of people, which is the idea, the concept that any task that you can do is usually about 20 minutes, and your attention span is about 20 minutes, with the exception of this podcast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things throughout your day that are 20 minutes, and the idea that like there's something about the brain and its idea of what 20 minutes is, as opposed to like, okay, if someone says we're gonna go eat at this place down the street, it's only 20 minutes from your house. It's like this magic spot where you're like, that's 20 minutes, that's not too bad. But if somebody says it's 25 minutes from your house, you're like, oh, that's almost 30 minutes. And so
That's like half an hour.
Yeah.
Half an hour, that's a long time.
That's a long time. It'll take me half an hour to get back, so that's an hour of my day just driving. But if it's 20 minutes, no worries. You don't even think about it. But it applies to a lot of things. There's even these like task programs and stuff, to-do type programs that will actually do timers, and everything is set to 20 minutes. I'm going to do 20 minutes of this, and then I'm going to do 20 minutes of that. And it was just an interesting talk because it's something that a lot of people are heading toward right now in everything. Like when it comes to a to-do list and categorizing stuff on your to-do list, I have tried to simplify my to-do lists over the last year, but I still feel like I'm overdoing some of my personal pieces in my to-do list when it comes to small tasks. So let's say I have to email a guy about something. I still put it on my task list. I still categorize it to where it needs to go. I still give it a like hashtag, like, what is this? This is emailing someone, as opposed to going and running an errand or whatever. I spend all this time like categorizing this task to email somebody that probably takes almost as long as it does to do the actual email. So for me, I think I'm going to start putting things in my inbox and just write it and not categorize it anywhere, unless it's more than 20 minutes. Because things that take more than 20 minutes to accomplish are tasks that are bigger tasks, like do a render for a client, work on this thing. And if that's the case, okay, I'm going to categorize this project, and I'm going to do sub headings in there, and I'm going to do all that because it takes more than 20 minutes. But if it's just invoice someone, I'm going to put it in the inbox, and it's just going to sit there until I check it off, rather than be like super, like I'm way too like anal about it, and I need to, because it's taking me too much time. So I would check it out. Back to Work, episode 426. They compare it to workout intensity. So if you're going to go work out, do you go to the gym and just bam, you're going 100 miles an hour on a treadmill, and then you do that for like 2 hours? No. You probably go in.
Maybe you don't.
You warm up a little bit. Maybe you lift, bro. And, you kind of maybe you do a little warm up. Let's say you're going jogging. Compared to jogging and running, you're not just going to like go out the door and just start sprinting. You know, you're going to do this warm-up stuff. So, like, when I sit at my desk in the morning and I get my coffee, I start doing a couple things. I check my tasks, whatever it is. I'm warming up, and then, bam, I'm working on a project really hard for, like, 20 minutes. And no doubt someone's going to email me, call me, whatever it is. And the theory is that 20 minutes is the magic number where your head is just going to kind of fizzle out a little bit. Now, I would have to say me personally, sometimes I'll get in the Cinema 4D, and I'm just like, I'm in it, you know, and like 3-4 hours later, I come back and I'm like, oh, what happened? You know,
after you've got
a fever dream.
loose.
Yeah. And, but as far as like other tasks, I think it's a good thing to look at and say, okay, I'm going to work on this for 20 minutes and I'm going to take a break and then I'm going to come back to it, or I'm going to go to another task and just divide it up. And you're doing
That's
that with your brain.
normally my nap cycle, 20 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
take a quick 20-minute nap.
Matt nap.
Yeah, I usually drink beer for 20 minutes before I go to scotch.
Yeah. And then 20 minutes of scotch, followed by another 20 minutes of scotch.
20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a different label.
20 minutes of cigar.
a different kind of scotch.
Yeah.
Right. That's funny.
20 years. A 20-year scotch in 20 minutes.
Yes.
So anyway, other links that I have, I saw the Twitter post where Aaron Covrat is working on some foliage.
Oh, okay, the foliage one. I thought you were talking about the substance painter where he's using like particle paints in order to paint wet maps. Oh my gosh,
that kid's ridiculous, man. That guy is out of his mind.
I like every time I see him post something about Substance Designer, I'm just like, I need to get more into this.
Yeah,
but then I'm like, I've got a Polygon subscription.
He's really good though. He's really good. And what a general nice individual too. Like,
yeah, he is.
Him and I are both doing I think I can share. Him and I are both doing a project with Intel. We're probably chatting a little bit about it.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, we all are.
Apparently.
Yeah, we've been chatting about that. Yeah, I think
you guys are.
Well, it's a different project, but we were talking about the fact that we were both working on Intel projects at the same time.
Oh,
yeah.
But I can't wait to see what it is that he showed me like a little preview at NAB. I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding me, man! Like this is like ridiculous. But very, very well talented person. So. Yes, but yeah, I did see the
he's gonna get snatched up quick.
But I almost feel like like what Matt was referring to about the wet maps and substance was even cooler than the foliage thing.
Yeah.
If you haven't, Dave, you got to check out the wet maps.
Yeah, where was that, by the way?
It's on his Twitter.
It was like particle painting, and it was just awesome.
Like particle painting's been around apparently forever. You know,
yeah, look him up.
And someone was pointing out that you could use it for like creating like grunge, you know, like someone had done a smokestack and had like the soot come down from the top. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm bringing him up here. Let's see, Aaron Covrat.
Yeah, I've been showing a lot of my my Cinema 4D students his site because it's just like a really good reference too of just like, you know, he hasn't been doing it for all that long.
That was super cool.
That was cool
that
too.
one. Like using, what is it? You're using something. What's he using? Anchor points.
Anchor points to drive material layering. Huh.
Gosh, that's insane. And he's just painting on different layers and stuff.
Yeah, there's the wet. Yeah.
That is insane.
What?
Right? Dave's like, crap.
What?
Now we're gonna have to renew our Substance Painter licenses.
Oh, we already did a couple months ago.
We did?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Sweet.
Yeah, when I was working with some textures and stuff after I saw the presentation that Chad Ashley gave at DFWC 4D, I think I renewed at least one of our licenses. So, man,
isn't that cool?
So much stuff to learn. Somebody pay me just to learn stuff for fun, please.
You learn Substance, I'll learn Houdini.
Yeah,
I'll be a great R&D guy, I swear.
I'm gonna do a little shout out to the guys at Intel because they've been super fun to work with. I don't know if you guys are working with the same ones, JP and Benjamin.
No, we were working with Ariev, who was with an agency who was working with them, so we're a bit removed from the process.
They hooked me up with a machine, an Intel machine, and And like the current machine I have is pretty fast, but they hooked me up with it was all CPU based project, and it was 4 times faster for some of the renders I was doing on the machine he gave me.
Wow.
And my other
Jeez.
machine that I used, I thought was pretty powerful. I was like, oh my gosh.
How many
It was
cores?
nuts. 64.
Man.
And
Yeah.
Did you get to keep it?
Oh, it's mine.
Oh, yeah.
It's mine.
You're like,
and
I didn't make any money on the job, but I got this sweet computer.
Straight hustling, bro.
they were super super nice, but the computer itself is super baller, and it's got a 2080 Ti in it, and it's so small because I just moved recently and I'm lugging my big machines everywhere, and they're all water cooled, and like I'm like, this thing's got to be like 100 and something pounds. The one they gave me, it's got to be like what is it, like 5 inches width or less, 4 inches width, and it's tiny. It's like 2 shoe boxes stacked on vertically on top of each other. It's nothing. I'm like, man, I got to get all new machines now. I'd like these small computers that are way powerful.
I found
I'll let them know if Intel needs any extra work. You know, I'd be happy to work for a machine.
Yes. Yeah, but it was a very very fun little project that we did. It'll be coming out somewhat soon. I think it's okay for me to kind of share, but yeah, I mean, just pay close. Like I'll be sharing stuff. I won't say it right now just in case I'm not supposed to, but like stuff will be happening for everyone to get access to the stuff that I'm doing with them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the foliage stuff you were just showing looks really cool.
Yeah.
I think, what is he creating? Like an actual pack of stuff?
I think it's a plug-in. I
Looked
think.
like
Yeah.
it.
That looks fun.
Well, remember at NAB he did that. He had like the corn that he made.
Yeah.
And like he had it all, like a lot of it was like procedurally driven and stuff like that. And he was like showing somebody, and like I was just kind of lurking over his shoulder. And then I was like, dude, you could sell that. Like that should be a plugin. And he like looks over at me. He's like, you think so? I'm like, yeah. Like what? You did all the work. It's all on these sliders. Like sell that, man.
Yeah.
Like people would buy that for sure.
Yeah, he's posted his photography process too. I think he's basically kind of doing. There's a video for Substance that shows how to set up your own like cameras and lighting, and just to get your normal maps and everything else. So yeah, look at all this foliage.
Yeah.
Foliage. I can't escape Lisa, my little walking library. Say it right. Chowder. Say it right. It's chowder. I'm going to enjoy this. So, other links that I've got. Oh, let's talk about the Mac Pro, quote unquote, leak.
Yeah, let's do it.
So,
Do it.
do you think? First of all, do you think this
Show the
is
picture.
do you think it's real? Yeah, I'm looking it up here so I can bring it up.
I'm gonna say, here's the thing. It looks cool. It looks very nice. It has an NVIDIA card in it, so I highly doubt that it's real.
Right. That's the first thing I noticed.
I will put $100 down right now. All right. Remember this episode 184. When the modular Mac Pro comes out, I am calling $100, and I'm going to win $100 because they will not put an NVIDIA card in the new Mac Pro. I don't even think they will allow an NVIDIA card in there.
Yeah, contractually, maybe they even can't at this point. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, whatever deal they have. This says Intel Xeon W Cascade Lake X, which I'm assuming that's some sort of newfangled something or other that Intel's working on. Apple T2 security chip, Apple X2 accelerator. Well, I don't even know what that is. Okay. 3 times double wide PCIe 4 slots. But here's the thing. It says single or dual AMD FirePro X and NVIDIA Quadro RTX BTO. Now, why would both of them be in there? Both. Why would both be listed?
Single or dual AMD FirePro X?
Why would you have
no
a
idea.
FirePro and a Quadro? And
I
why a
don't know.
Quadro even? Is that and is it going to be? if it was, would it be modular, like, Apple proprietary Quadro just
Yeah.
for this box?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you guys explain to me, because I was on the Apple bandwagon for so long and being like, that's the only computer that's good, PC suck, and then it's just like I don't understand the thought process of like why you would spend the money on, like, if you're doing this as a profession, it's like why would you spend the money? I just don't understand why you spend the money on
It's
on the Mac Pro.
preference. You know,
But that's so
you're
stupid
basic
for preference.
Yeah, but some people don't mind spending the money.
Yeah, but like you just get faster machines and more of them, like, and then you just like make more money by doing that. I just don't understand that mindset of just like
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, we
I
were
just
talking
don't
to
get
EJ
it.
about this the other day. He's still waiting. He's still waiting for
Yeah.
this or whatever. And I'm like, well,
It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
but you
here's
could
the
get
thing.
so
Here's
much
the thing
more.
about EJ. EJ's doing a lot of teaching work, you know?
Right.
So he doesn't
That's what he
necessarily
said.
need a huge machine and stuff like that.
Right.
Which is understandable, you know? Like if I didn't need a GPU or whatever, if I didn't need a, like 6 GPUs, I mean, I could see myself working off of an iMac, as long as I bumped up the specs and stuff like that in order for the processor to be fast enough, you know? I mean, you're going to spend, what, 5-10 grand on an iMac, and it comes with the big 5K thing. I've worked on them. They're very nice.
Yeah, I love,
And it's
Yeah.
all about
Apple
personal
stuff.
preference as far as operating system. But for me, I spend
Okay.
$2,000 and I get a brand new PC, like super maxed out.
But if that's the case, all you
that I
need
can
is a
upgrade,
laptop.
You know,
Yeah.
Like, why do
And
you
like,
need
I mean,
this?
I still prefer the Mac OS. Like, I still prefer a lot of things
Yeah.
about Apple, but it just from a business standpoint, I just don't
Yeah.
understand how anyone can make that decision. Like the operating system, like, yes, I still prefer Mac over the PC operating system, but it's not all that different. I really feel that, like, it's like, I jump from Windows to Mac every single day almost, and
Every single
not
day.
that, it's really not that different. Yeah.
every single day.
Well, we'll see. I don't know.
They come out with something cool. I just feel at this point they lost me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever they come out with is gonna be cool, because Apple make cool products. Like,
Hey, if they hook me up with
They're-
one for free,
Yeah, there
maybe
you
I'll
go.
change my mind.
right? They're really expensive,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they're cool products.
They're cool. They're
You
built
know?
with quality. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
But I mean, it's a pain. You have to work within their ecosystem and their, whatever. But
and I feel like I'm
Whatever.
done with companies that do that just in general. I hate that when I feel like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I bought this and now I'm locked into only using.
you're locked and loading.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm locked into the Oculus Rift ecosystem. Which, by the way, mine is
Yeah.
coming this week. A new one. I'm so
Ooh.
excited to try it out. But I'm not necessarily upset that I'm locked into it, and I guess that's because I have the option to also use Valve, or whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, Steam. Steam VR, and
I'll never stop talking about Breaking Bad or The Wire.
Thanks, Kevin. But
I love you, Kevin.
with Apple, God, you're just so locked in, and I don't know. I feel like I don't feel locked in anymore. When you had Final Cut and all of that stuff, it's just, and then you get the apps in the App Store and all that. You don't want to switch because you're gonna have to spend money to get the same program equivalent on the PC, and that is a process. I understand, but there's a point where you've just got to let it. You gotta let it go, and I think this is gonna be the breaking point for so many people. And I'm guessing they would probably announce it. I don't know.
I think they're gonna announce it
In June. In June.
No, I think they'll wait.
September's the
I think
iPhone.
I think you're gonna do it in. They're gonna do it in September.
What about?
I think
don't
they'll
they
do-
usually do it June?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the iPhone or I don't know.
Well,
But I
September's
think,
the iPhone.
No, June is the
Developers, right?
Worldwide Developers Conference. right.
Developers.
They may.
Developers.
They may. But if they won't release it before next year.
Mhm.
If it's gonna come out, it's gonna come out next year.
Okay.
Yeah, I just can't
$100
believe people
says
have been waiting
no,
this long.
no NVIDIA GPU, and it's not gonna come out till next year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, other links I have here. Number one is Prying by our friend Mark Thorson. He just did this as, I think, just a for fun piece. So I'll post a link to that. And also, Matt, you posted a link to something called Houdini Nerd.
Oh yeah, that's Tokyo Megaplex's new thing.
Oh, is it? Oh man, see, I
Yeah.
haven't been on the Slack
So
today. Is this
HoudiniNerd.com. If you go to HoudiniNerd.com, he's got a ton of like Houdini resources and stuff.
really?
So yeah, there's
Ooh.
like 8 people on there right
Oh,
now.
it's a
They're all
Google
checked
Doc.
out. 13. Yeah, it's just a big Google Doc.
Oh
And
wow.
he's got a whole bunch of like
Dude, this
great
is
places that
awesome.
you can learn Houdini. Some beginner links. After you get acquainted with the interface and some more basics and stuff, and then miscellaneous one-off useful tutorials. It's pretty cool.
Ooh, he's gonna have to add Houdini Mark's class when we launch that this fall.
Yes.
I am so excited about this class.
Yeah.
I'm so
It's gonna be
excited
good.
about it. I'm so
It'd be really
excited.
awesome.
His class is just like he's already recorded a chunk of it, and I'm starting to kind of, get an edit going, and I'm so excited because I'm gonna learn Houdini while I'm editing it.
Oh
So,
yeah. You'll have it down.
I'll tell you what, I've jumped into Houdini a few times over the past like week or two, and it's not as intimidating as I thought it was going to be.
It won't be if you do Mark's class, that's for sure. His whole
Right.
goal on it is to make it so it's not intimidating, like easily like transferable from like, okay, you're a Cinema 4D artist and you want to pick up Houdini. These are the steps like to take to make it not scary at all. I think it's gonna be sick. Because that's what the always thing that like throws me off. Is like you want to jump in and you want to do all this stuff and like, oh, you got to code this or you got to. It's like, oh, that's not. Maybe I don't want to start. It's like everybody's like idea when they jump into 3D, they're like want to model the most complex thing. It's like, no, let's just talk about what you know already and build from there. And so that's what I think. That's what he's really.
You don't want to model a
well.
car. You want to model a donut.
Exactly.
Right.
yeah. I don't know what vops and mops and socks. And tops.
I saw a
Fops?
really good tutorial. Like if you click on the tutorials part on the Houdini Apprentice or whatever, the free version, they go over a lot of that stuff. Like I did some about just smoke and Voronoi fracture and what vops, sops, mops, bibbity bops. What they were. And so it makes more sense once you realize,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cool. Well, I'll put a link to that in the show notes. There's 2 different Gumroad things I wanted to bring up. Number one is Travis Davids came out with 100 tileable displacement and alpha patterns part 2. So go check that out. Looks really cool. And then French Monkey
is selling those on his site, right?
I don't know.
I believe.
French Monkey is selling Observer Dowell's new thing called Hard Surface Tiles Volume 1. These are 2 separate things.
Never mind.
Yeah,
2 separate. Okay.
2 separate Gumroads.
My bad.
But go check those out and throw some money their way if that's something you want. But now it's time for Beeple's People.
Hold on, real quick, before we do that. Did you see Merck's new plugin that he's working on?
Yes, the Greebles.
What is it? The Polygreeble or something like
Yes.
that? Holy crap, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
That guy's amazing.
I
Too.
had that
Yeah.
in the notes, but I figured I'd wait until it was, because it's not out yet, is it? Or is it?
No, I don't
yeah.
think it was out.
I saw Ryan Summers posted it, and it's just like, yeah, it
Cool.
looks really incredible.
Okay, well now it's
All
my
right.
turn. That's my cue
All right.
to use the bathroom
See
real
ya.
quick.
All right, we're gonna start Beeple's People, and so take out your Beeple viewer of choice. I'm going to Twitter and typing in Beeple. Easy enough, at Beeple, or if you're on Instagram, it's Beeple_crap. Beeple crap. He is on a freaking roll this week. Let me tell you, I couldn't even choose because there were so many good ones. So we may just briefly just look at the other ones from the week as well. But the first one that we're actually going to look at is May 13th, Year of Our Lord 2019. And this one is called Secret Weapon. And I know exactly where he's going with this. Because as soon as I saw it, I thought American Tail. And then just now I noticed Secret Weapon. This has to be... Did you watch American Tail?
No.
Fievel Mouskowitz? Back in the 80s,
Oh,
the
yeah,
Spielberg
yeah,
movie?
yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you remember the end? Release the secret weapon!
Yeah, of course.
The first thing I thought when I
Like-
saw this, because it was the giant mouse with the chains and stuff on it. Or they built it out of, old socks and things like that. That's why I wish... I'll ask Matt, because he probably knows. We're pretty good on the 80s culture and junk.
I completely forgot about that movie until you just named it now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had a Fievel Mouse doll too.
Mm-hmm. And then there's part 2,
Yeah.
Fievel Goes West.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really cool. He's been doing all of the... God, look at this. Look at the size of the tank. So one of the things with scale that you don't notice at first is you see the general standing there, whatever he is. But this is like a high platform. Like, look at the people down there and the size of the tank in comparison with the Mickey Mouse head. So I'll ask Matt, because he's back from taking a pee break. Do you watch... What's the first thing you think of when you see this?
That Netflix is keeping hold of Mickey Mouse, or Mickey Mouse is getting loose from Netflix. It's because Disney decided to cancel their contract with Netflix, and they're starting their own streaming service.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. So this is the...
Yeah, it's because, Mike watches nothing but Fox News and CNN on 2 gigantic 65-inch TVs in his office. So they're probably talking about, Netflix and Disney's new streaming service.
Right.
Which, did you hear that Disney basically bought the rest of Comcast's stake in Hulu? So now, Disney's not only going to have its own streaming service, but it's also going to own Hulu as well.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But
Disney owns the world, bro.
But what we were talking about, I know, bro.
They own everything.
But they,
it's insane. When you start seeing the list, they even own most of Universal now too.
Yeah,
and it's they bought all the comic stuff there. It's nuts. Man.
We're gonna need an entertainment bailout if they ever fail. They're too big to fail.
Yeah.
We'll have no entertainment left. So here's the thing we were talking about while you were peeing is, have you seen An American Tail?
I was European. Have I seen what?
American Tail.
Heck yeah.
Release the secret weapon.
Release the secret weapon.
And it's called Secret Weapon. I'm telling you, there's a reference
that's pretty
here.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Gotta be. If not,
but
that's
there
pretty
are
big.
no caps in America, and the streets are paved with cheese.
All right, I'm gonna have to remix that too.
Is it? Oh god.
Yes.
Now, anyway, never mind. Amy and I fight all the time over what the actual lyrics to that song are, because I say paved with cheese and she said made with cheese.
No, it's paved with cheese.
It's paved. Yes, I know.
So you can set your mind at ease. Yeah.
She also thinks that the words to what is it, Africa, something when they talk about Mount Olympus, she thinks it's talking about a female leopard, a leprous. I'm like, no, that's not a thing. That's just not a thing.
A leprous. All right. Anyway,
all right, sorry.
The next one, May 14th, is called Stand Still.
Yeah.
And this is just gorgeous.
It is a gorgeous render.
Yeah.
You want to know my story behind it?
Sure. Let's hear it.
It's because space renders are gone. Like, where's the latest space render? What's going on? It's left in the dust. It's out there all by, gathering dust and getting spider webs on it. Yeah.
Okay.
No one's doing space anymore.
For now. It'll come back around like everything else does.
Right.
But I just thought this was a great one.
I love the halo render, or the rainbow halo.
And
that
the
looks
backlighting.
awesome.
So good.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, I wonder what he did for the spider webs. If they're just splines, or if he kind of had these.
I think there's a spider web generator online that I've actually used before. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, I think he got his hands on a
Tokyo.
spider web generator, because one he did a couple days ago has got the spider webs too. So I think
Yeah.
he's having some fun with it.
Let's
Tokyo
see,
says more
C4D
like
Spiderweb.
astronaut. Am I right? Octane Jesus is dead. Died for your
Valkyrie. Valkyrie has a spiderweb preset for C4D. Let me see. Spiderweb C4D. There we go. Here, it's in A scripts. Okay, so A scripts has it. It's free, and I've used it before. It's super easy to use and makes really cool looking spiderwebs. So I can throw it in the dingus if you want to put it on the
Yeah, throw it in the dingus.
the links.
Yeah, for
There you
sure.
go.
All right. And now some of these I just want to glance through, even though it's not on the list, because he just had an amazing week. I mean, this young Yoda thing. He's got this whole painted thing going there. This one is on the list. This is May 16th. It's called Last Chapter.
Yeah. He's been doing a lot of these Game of Thrones inspired ones.
Yeah. This is really cool looking, and I don't know. This almost looks like a samurai or something. Not. I don't know.
Maybe he was trying to go for the white-haired chick. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know her name.
Or maybe Arya.
Yeah, Arya.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like and gosh, I mean, so many good ones. Again, this is on my list. Either Hard Landing, so good. I mean, look at the you got a 5G tower down here or something, and you got it's short, so just like Colorado, probably doesn't work very well. Hard Landing is that's just really pretty. The colors are great.
Yeah.
And the
he's just been crushing like sense of scale and perspective
I
too.
know.
Like
ever since we started calling him out on it.
Gosh, and then again, he has one called Bad Day.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome. More spider webs. He's got Finale from yesterday's Game of Thrones. I mean, just awesome. Really awesome. Just too much to even go through in one episode. So, and then he did something about like some video about Game of Thrones.
He was talking about Game of Thrones, and he's like, if you didn't like, all the people who were saying the ending was stupid, why don't you put up what you think it should have been? And he went through and he did his ending, what he thinks it should have been. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. I guess we can't do that though, right? No spoilers.
Nah. Everyone lives.
Right.
Everyone who's died over the past 8 seasons comes back to life. That's the way. I can't believe they ended it that way.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was weird.
Oh, all right. Well, I think we're gonna get out of here. That's pretty much it. David, thanks for being on.
Super fun. Yeah. Super fun to be on. Love it.
We're gonna get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review, subscribe on your podcatcher of choice. Helps get our ratings up. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the Mograph logo tee available on Amazon.com. The Paul Babb Feel the Babb 2020 shirt. All the profits from that go to Doctors Without Borders. The Render Things shirt, hoodie, and long sleeve tee. And of course, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube, Mograph.com. And David, where can people find you online?
LockedandLoading.com. Locked and Loading on Instagram. Locked and Loading on Twitter.
Easy
Where can I
enough.
get one of those sweet Locked and Loading t-shirts?
Ooh,
I have
snap.
to print them up, man. Those are all by hand for me.
Oh,
so I
really?
man.
Yeah. So
I want one.
Yeah.
And you get the
Yeah, for
Amazon
sure.
thing going.
Yeah, no.
dude.
After you told me that, I'm like, oh wow, why did I make them by hand? I did it like before SIGGRAPH though. Like I had no time at all. I thought about it really late, and like the night before I left for SIGGRAPH, I made them up real quick, and I was like, all right, well they're done. So, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah. You guys will get them.
we can help you get that going on Amazon if you want. If you don't have a.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get out of here. Subscribe please if you haven't already subscribed to the new Mograph, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff, especially the YouTube channel, because we won't broadcast on that forever. I know a lot of people still watch on there, and we're trying to transition everybody over. So just a reminder to sign up, help us get things going on the new channels. It's always hard to start something from scratch like that, so very much appreciated. We got some fun stuff coming down.
Go to meetups. Go to motion graphic meetups. They're so important for the industry. Important to network. Important for your career. Meet so many cool people. Learn so much stuff.
You know what's a really great meetup coming up in October? Camp Mograph.
Oh yeah.
Today. No, but for real.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
No, but
For
really,
real.
you only got like 11 days left
Do it.
for that early bird pricing. So
Yeah.
go get yourself some tickets to Camp Mograph. Find some people, find some folks, get a cabin, or if you want to just go by yourself, you can get in a cabin or you can camp and stuff like that. It's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Go get a different experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be doing it. So get out of your comfort zone with me.
Right?
Cool.
We're gonna make s'mores. I'm bringing like a whole bunch of marshmallows and stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here.
All right.
Until next week. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Oh, Dave.
Have a good one.
See you guys.
Later, yo. Monkey legs. Monkey legs. I thought you were gonna do the monkey legs as the outro music.
No. All right. Let me turn the things off here. Hold on one second.
Yeah, turn the things off. I have some good news.
Stand by.